Hi, welcome to the Witch House. Pull up a chair, have a sit, and let's chat. And today, me and my baker buddy here, she and I, we're going to talk to you about demons. Ooh. So I have had, over the past year, several requests to talk about demons, my knowledge of demons, my interaction with demons, those types of things. So I have with me the Demon Tarot, and then I also have the new Demon Possessed Tarot, which are two very different animals that we're going to discuss. So, first of all, I am known as an individual who can walk with the light in the dark. My journey into witchcraft actually began with the dark side because, well, yeah, I guess it would be not necessarily the dark side, but the shadow side. And the shadow side is always more enticing to people. I mean, what woman doesn't, when she's young and dumb, doesn't want a bad boy as a boyfriend? I mean, are you with me, ladies? You know, guys, don't you want a badass girlfriend? I mean, isn't that awesome if you're on the arm of this badass woman? All right, so case made. So my journey into the shadows started when I was pretty young. I was probably 13 or 14, and we had a Ouija board. And that was my first introduction. And I would talk to lots of different people. It almost became, well, it did. It became an obsession. Every waking hour, I wanted on that board. I wanted to talk to whoever I wanted to talk to. If there were things I wanted that family members or whatever wouldn't get for me, they somehow managed to figure out a way to change their mind, and I got what I wanted. However, there was always a price to be paid for that, and it took me a good while, several months actually, to kind of put those two things together and then realize I'm getting in way too deep here. I'm getting in way too deep. And so I started actually, that's when I started looking for research. And I was going to the library and I was finding books on demonology and how to work with demons and what to do to keep them at bay and all of these different kinds of things. And so I came out of the shadow into the light. And for numerous years, I stayed in the light. And then in my 20s, the whole witch phenomena of the 80s was just going crazy. And so I did have a couple of friends who had some hauntings in their home, and they invited me over to witness some of these things. And so yeah, it wasn't pleasant. I mean, I cleared and cleansed the homes because, it wasn't anything dramatic like poltergeist where stuff is flying around or anything. But I mean, a chair would move, or, a spoon would fall off the counter, something like that. You would hear noises. In my case, I actually have clairaudience. So I can hear people talking. And so, that was my journey into the shadow again in my 20s. And that was all well and fun, but it just wasn't someplace I ever wanted to really stay. It didn't have that staying power with me. There was something that, I could go in when I wanted to, but I preferred to come out and be on this side of the veil as opposed to the other side. And so for many years, That's how it's been. And only recently, again, now the shadow is coming to me again. Going into the shadow and discovering, more about how things have transformed. It's a little different now because I'm in a city. Where I was before, I was living in an old house. My friends had houses from the 18 and 1900s. Modern day housing, it's really got to be something special with the land, which is something, excuse me, you don't find a lot where I live here in the city. It's just not something that was prevalent here. So, yeah. I had something fall over that I absolutely had to fix. Sorry, guys. So, anyways, yeah. And so I saw these two decks, and of course, you guys know I have a collection of what I call my creepy decks, and these two are in it. But they're two very different decks, and so I thought I would explain to you the differences in the decks, because somebody had also asked me about that as well. And if you have any questions about demons or demonology or anything like that, please feel free to ask me those questions in the comments section. I don't know if I'll be able to answer them because I am not an expert. I am not a trained demonologist. This is just only, my own personal experience with it. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to start with the Demon Tarot. Well, actually, I'm going to start with both of them. So I went through, no, I'm going to start with the Demon Tarot. Okay, so here is the Demon Tarot by Ariana Osborne. Okay, so if you read this book, her inspiration came from Colin de Plancy's Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum, which is the false hierarchy of demons, and that's from like 1816. And Colin de Plancy, if you have the Demon Tarot, read the write-up, because that's really very good. Anyway, he commissioned a Louis Breton to do these paintings. And so what she did was she collected all of the paintings that that were in the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum and put them in this tarot. So that's partially true, because I have a copy of the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum, and only 40 cards out of the 68 or 69 is in the Demon Tarot. Only 40 of them came out of the false hierarchy of demons list, which leads me to believe that the other demons will be found in the Lesser Key of Solomon, or the Ars Goetia. I can never remember if I'm pronouncing that right, but anyway, or is it Gosha? Anyway, I used to have the Lesser Key. I don't have it anymore. It's winging its way to me. I just bought it again to have it. Yes, I used to have all of these books. I had all of Anton LaVey's books. I've read all his books. Anyway, so only a portion of the demons actually show up in both decks. 40 cards for each deck. So the rest, I'm thinking, have to come out of the Key of Solomon. I have to wait till I get the book to verify that. But in going through this one, she focused, she said, specifically on the false hierarchy of demons. So I'm wondering why. She does mention that there are other things in this deck, which are things like Sabbath. That's not a demon. Witch's Round. That's not a demon. Brooms. That's not a demon either. So she's got, those were the only three I could tell weren't demons in there that are not demons. The other thing is in the demon tarot, she has, I'm going to open it to the one I had before, which was, where is he? Now I can't find him. I thought he was in order. Okay, maybe not. Yeah? All right. Hold on a second. Ah, there we go. So here she talks about Abigor. All right? So Abigor, so this is this is all about Abigor. What kind of a demon he is, what he's good at, what his characteristics are. And then this is inspiration. Now this is her understanding of what she's reading, of what kind of demon he is. And then you have the divination, which she has quelled down from her own inspiration. Now, her book specifically says, let's see, she talks about summoning the demon, which she doesn't suggest is a good thing to do. Yeah, so where is it? Okay, it's not traditional. It's not a traditional tarot, and it's not supposed to be used that way. If you read it this way, she's got a 6-card spread that this is supposed to be used with, a specific 6-card spread. She did say that you could pull one card, but she said the 6-card spread is useful for longer and more complicated questions, how to deal with problems and stuff. So, but then she also goes on to say, she said, here's one final disclaimer before we begin. One man's God is another man's demon. In this book and deck, you will find many demons that have almost always been considered just demons. During the 16th century, the Dutch demonologist Johann Weyer compiled a list of ranking demons of hell, the Pseudomonarchia Demonum. As an appendix to his treatise De Prestigiis Demonum et Incantationibus ac Veneficis. I can't speak Latin, but it's on the illusions of demons and spells and poisons. Many of the spirits listed in the Pseudomonarchia would later appear in somewhat better known Ars Goetia, the Lower Keys of Solomon. And many are also listed here as they were used by Colin de Plancy as proof that demons were not only real, but also evil. Parentheses. However, I'm shooting for fair and balanced reporting. If you will, that means that, yes, I'll tell you if a demon is rumored to be particularly murderous, but I won't be ascribing any evil intent to what appear to be otherwise good-natured folk. If you choose to believe that anything that's not human is terrible, that's up to you, but I have no such prejudices. So, you can already see that she has put a happy spin on these cards. And I kind of kept getting that in using these cards. Once I threw out the book and did my own meanings to the cards based on the demons themselves, then I started getting the hard-hitting readings. So her inspirations and divinations, they're all happy. I have not come across one in here that she mentioned is particularly murderous. So if you use your own meanings and you read what she has to say about the demon himself, because she is she is taking that directly from she's taking a lot of it from the false hierarchy of demons, but she's also taking it from other places that have been written about demons. There's so much out there written on demons and demonology. So she's compiled all that, and she's done, I think, a pretty good job in the annotation section where she tells you about the demons. She's not done a good job, I think, with the inspiration and the divination, because she makes these demons out to be nicer than what they actually are. So that's my only problem with the Demon Tarot. So if you go with your own gut and your own feeling on these cards, I think you're much better off. And that's what I do with them. And they're not a tarot because they don't correlate at all to the tarot. I still have no idea why she called it a tarot. But anyway, that's my story on the Demon Tarot by Ariana Osborne. Now, we're going to talk about this deck, the Demon Possessed deck. This thing, this is no effing joke. I have the book in PDF form, so I can't show it to you here, but the book is very well written, and although he may be coming from a standpoint of, I don't think that he's actually trying to scare anyone. I think he's trying to be truthful to the demons and to demon culture. He's keeping it real with these cards, including in his PDF. He has instructions on how to care for the deck, how to consecrate the deck, how to use the deck. He also has, that was one other thing too, the going back to the false hierarchy of demons, the pseudo-monarchia daemonum. Clancy specifically left out certain things in order that the demons could not be summoned. So even if you have the book, you couldn't use it to summon a demon because there's nothing in there that would present itself to do that. On the other hand, this guy, I think he, and again, I'm not sure, but reading what he wrote, he full-on ritual to summon a demon of your choice. Although he does make it known that it's not a good idea to summon one of the more powerful demons like Astaroth unless you really know what you're doing. But yeah, he has that kind of information in the book, and this is not a sugar-coated deck. It's not a sugar-coated deck. And I love this. I love this. And I really appreciate what he did in this deck. And I'm looking forward to getting, besides doing this, he also did the flip side. He did the Angel Evoking Tarot, which I'm getting too, because I'm working to disassociate the word angel from religion, because growing up Catholic, you know, I swear I'm almost like a vampire that has been exposed to sunlight when somebody says something like angel or anything that is remotely connected to the Catholic Church. And I guess I'm trying to desensitize myself from that, or disassociate some things from that, because angels don't belong to the church. Angels are spirit beings. They have always been spirit beings, and they're available to anyone. And I am attempting to incorporate that into my practice as well. Obviously, two sides. I want some balance in there. So I have been working on that this year as well. All right, guys, that is my take on the Demon Tarot and the Demon Possessed Tarot and what the differences are. So if you just want a deck to play with, get the Demon Tarot. If you want a deck that's really going to make you think and work for it and maybe really bring up some shadow for you, Demon Possessed is the one you want. All right, guys. Much shock for love, and I'll see you on the next one.